Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today is day 5 of Vlogmas and I decided to do a YouTube tag with a difference. Today I'm going to answer 10 money related questions that people tend to want to know the answers for. So stay tuned. Question number 1, how bad is it if I use a credit card? And to be honest, the answer for that is it isn't bad. It depends on how you use a credit card that becomes an issue. So personally, I believe that people can use credit cards sensibly. I believe that if you're able to pay the balance off at the end of each month and not accrue too much interest, then I think that's the way to go. But if you are constantly using your credit card and only able to pay the minimum payments, then you are going to quickly get into a sticky situation. So I would prefer to use cash, but some people do and are managing their credit cards very effectively. Question number 2, what does a realistic budget look like? Basically, a budget is meant to tell you how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out. And if there is any money left over, then you should be able to assign it a job. So for me, my aim overall is to find a balance between those 3 things. So my aim is to spend 70% of my income, be able to save 20% of my income, and be able to donate 10% of my income. So those of you who've been following me for a while, I do give 10% of my income to tithe, but other people can donate that to a charity or what have you. 20% is my aim to be able to save. At the moment, it isn't there. And in terms of how much income is going out, I'm probably above the 70% as well. So just trying to get those ratios to match up to my preferred targets is what I'm trying to do. Question number 3, how much should I spend on myself each month? The answer to that is it all depends on your budget. So for myself, I have a personal sinking fund, which I put £20 a month in. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but because I've been doing it for quite a while and I don't dip into it too often, it has amounted to quite a lot of money now. So it depends on your budget, what you're able to put aside. I would say be sensible. If you are on a debt-free journey and your journey is looking like it's going to be a long one, it wouldn't be sensible for you to put so much restraint on yourself. Whereas if you are really close to the end of your journey, then maybe tightening up your belt and reducing the amount that you do spend on yourself would get you there quicker. But again, it depends on your budget and it depends on your priorities at the time. Question number 4, how much debt is too much debt? And this does depend. This does depend on a few things. So can you pay your bills? Can you pay the minimum payment of your debt? If the answer to both of those questions is no, then it means that you do have to think about things. So definitely make sure that I could pay all of my living expenses. So can I pay my rent? Can I pay my heating? Can I pay for food? Travel to work? Those things need to be budgeted first. And then I'd work on one of those debts or try to separate those debts into smaller chunks that I would pay off the smallest amount first and then work on the larger amounts. Or you could pay off the one with the highest interest rate first and then go on to the ones with smaller interest rates. Question number 5, how soon do I need to start to save for retirement? And I would say as soon as possible, but I do feel that retirement does have its place in the sense that if you do have a lot of debt where you can't pay minimum payments, that you're living from paycheck to paycheck, then I think you need to focus on those things first and then try and save for retirement. There's no point trying to save for a future that may never happen, guys, if you can't actually support yourself in the present. Question number 6 is how much money should I have in an emergency fund? Whilst going through my debt-free journey, I decided to save up £500 as an emergency fund. It doesn't mean that that's the only money that I have available to myself. It just means that that is what I have classed or assigned the name emergency fund. So if any untoward things were to happen, I have that money to dip into. Whereas sinking funds are something different. So sinking funds to me are not as important as having an emergency fund. I think the minimum should be at least £500 for an emergency fund. Some people believe it should be £1,000 and some people believe it should be a lot more than that, guys. It depends on where you are and what your priority is at that time. Question number 7, how can I save to be able to go on holiday or a big trip once a year. If you want to, or if your aim is to be able to go on a holiday, you need to save for it. You can do this by the cash envelope sinking fund method that I use, so putting money into a vacation envelope once a week or once a month in order to save towards that trip. Or you could open up an account that is just for trips and set up a direct debit into that account dedicated to that trip, where you put money in on a regular basis to be able to save for that trip. Your plan is, whether it's a cash method or an account method, you do need to save, and you do also need to make sure that that money is separated from other money. Question number 8. I already cut corners with my budget. It's still not enough. What now? This is something that I found out about my situation at a really early stage. As soon as I started budgeting, I started to see that the money that was coming in was just not cutting it. It wasn't enough for me to be able to pay my bills, pay towards debt, and still try to make ends meet. So for me, I knew that I need to increase the amount of money coming in. Now, this can be by doing a side hustle. This could be taking on an extra job. I was already tutoring part-time privately, but I knew I needed other streams of income, and that is one of the reasons why I set up my Etsy shop, in order for me to support my debt-free journey and to increase my streams of income. Question number 9, I'm moving in with my partner. How do we divide our money? Okay, this is a very, very personal opinion. This is just my opinion, and I know that other people's opinions may vary, but personally, if you are just moving in with a partner, you are not legally bound to that person in any way, shape or form, then I would not be sharing assets, income, anything like that, because you are not in a contract, and if anything was to happen or change for the worst, then legally you haven't got a leg to stand on. So I would continue to have our money separate, but I would split the bills equally. That is if you're willing to go into that situation. My advice would still be the same, even if you were to move in with a relative or a friend. Contracts would need to be written up so that you can protect yourself. Moving in with someone is not something that I would take lightly. You have to be very, very clear on who is paying for what and what would happen in a worst case scenario. Question number 10, I want to start a small business, but I don't know where to start. Okay guys, so in my experience, when this question came up for myself, I literally had to do the legwork. I had to research. I had to find out how other people did things. I had to read books. I had to talk to people. That is the only way you are going to find out. Nobody wakes up one day just knowing how to run a business. You have to find resources enabled to help you to do that. That could be talking to a financial advisor. There are many on YouTube that you can speak to who can give valid advice about what type of business to look into. That could also mean talking to people around you. What are you good at? What is your skill set? What are you passionate about? You need to ask yourself those questions first to really find out what you're good at and how you can actually market that talent. Okay guys, so that's all for now. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Have a go at answering the questions yourself. How would you have answered them differently? I'd be really interested to hear in the comment box below, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Have a good day.